Hi everybody, this is just a quick video introducing you to the SAR Labs Web of Science author search environment. This is an environment we'll be testing out some new tools and functionality that we want to introduce into the Web of Science and other tools on our various platforms like Insights. In this case, we're working with author searching. When you're on this environment, this is a place where you can go ahead and do a quick author search. This looks like some of our other author search tools, but there's some nice features here for in helping improve this experience. As I start to type in an author's name, you'll notice a type ahead, so I can select an author's name from that list. Next to that author's last name, I can type in an author's either initials or a full first name. Again, the type aheads help me suggest some names to me, and I can select them from the list. Once I've typed in the last name and initial and first name that I want to search on, I click on Find. Now, this is where it gets a little bit different. As I go in to look at the results, I'm not taking to a straight list of records. What I'm taking to is a view of author clusters. In this case, there's a top cluster here where I have 93 publications that have been algorithmically clustered. The algorithm that looks at Web of Science data kind of judges whether these articles, whether whatever version of that name might appear on that record, are likely to be by the same person based on the affiliation or the subject categories or the citation patterns for these records. So these 93 publications have been clustered together by the algorithm. Now, there's other papers that have not been clustered together. For whatever reason, they don't meet the precision requirements of the algorithm, so they have not been clustered together. However, you as a user might make the judgment that they should be clustered together. So as I'm viewing these various clusters, one with 93 papers, and then a couple single papers that have not been clustered, I can select them and then combine them for a single view. Now, as I combine, what I see is an author record with 95 publications. The 93 that were algorithmically clustered, and then the 2 that I chose to include here. Now, this author record view gives me a little bit more information about the author. I can also view all the alternative names and other organizations that this author may have been associated with. I also view some the light citation metrics, a sum of time cited, and an H index. Now, at this point, this is kind of the end of my search, but we do want to introduce additional functionality, and you'll see some new things coming, like being able to manipulate individual records from this cluster. Maybe there's something that was included here that shouldn't be included here, and you'd like to be able to deselect it and remove it from this view. Or downstream, one of the things we want to add to this is the ability to submit this as feedback, so that after you've made these decisions, viewed this author information, maybe you'd like to tell us that this is a verified collection of documents by a particular researcher. So you'd like to submit that feedback to us so we can recognize that feedback in the Web of Science data. That's something else we're working on in this environment. So let's go ahead and do another search example. Go back to the search page. Again, start typing in an author's last name. It selects names to include. I can then type in an author's first name. In this case, I won't type in a first name. I'm just going to type in an initial. Click on Find. And in this case, I get 4 clusters, one with 236 publications, and then some singletons, some papers that were not clustered for whatever reason. Now, I want to view all these together, but I don't have to. In this case, this one is from internal medicine, while the researcher I'm looking at is working in physics. So I'm not going to select that particular paper, but I will select the other 2. So I've selected one main cluster and then a couple single papers. I then click on Combine, and I view that combined author record for this researcher. Now, when you're using this, keep in mind this is a beta test environment. There'll be a lot of new features added over the coming weeks and months. As you're working with this, it is vitally important that you give us some feedback. So you can click on this Tell Us What You Think button, and that will take you to a survey where you can provide us some feedback. Also, in that email I sent you with your credentials to access the environment, there's an email address that will allow you to submit feedback directly to the development team. Up in the upper right hand corner, you'll see a little profile information. This is my profile, and this is where I go to get the help file. Again, I also have a feedback link, and I can sign out from this place. The account information allows me to change my password and change my profile information. So thank you very much for taking part in this test, and if you have any feedback, please let us know. Thanks a lot.